How you doing? Huzzah! How's it going? Here I am live in front of Luton train station. There's my mate Iqbal, and Iqbal. And behind him, 378 people named after one pot-bellied, dwarvish warlord from the only region of the Middle East without any oil. Brilliant. Love that. How's everyone doing? Plenty of yous in already. Crikey. Who's in that's important? Let's have a look. Council Estate Rach is in. All of my favourite people come from Council Estates. They're called Rach. Professor Andy, how you doing? Spent the day in London. Mint. I love that. I love how popular it was. It was amazing. Pictures on the news were class. Derek, now then. Good evening, folks. It's raining in Londonistan. Autumn has arrived. Who else is in? Stu's in, now then. World Champion CFC. All right, how you doing? Another Cockney with taste. Lee Howarth, now then. Who else? Kenny, he's in. Did you get your shirt yet, Kenny, you whinging bastard? Do you have to go to the post office and pick it up because you are incapable of sending me a coherent address? It's very. I mean, I'm not judging. I, too, occasionally send emails after 11 cans of special brew and 2 bottles of Bucky. But still... I'm just telling you, go to the post office. Where's that? How do I change that? Oh, well, that's fine. That's fine. We'll just leave it as is. I was wondering if I could get rid of the pub in the background and fill the entire background with Karachi, but I don't think I can. I don't think it'll let me. Let's have a look. No, I mean, it's not that funny, is it? You do it once, it's not. Yeah, fair enough. We'll just leave the boozer on. What's going down? So, did you see my latest videos? Loads of good professional tidbits in there. Loads of mad stuff's happening still. The raving lunatics on the left have spent the last 3 days completely deluding themselves. I seen one yesterday. In fact, let's look some of my replies because they are ridiculous. Where is it? Some raving lunatic here put up that there was 30,000 anti-racism protesters and 100,000 pro-UK protesters. And honestly, I was like, where does the counting, how can you be that bad at counting and have gone to a civilised school in a civilised country like the UK? I honestly don't understand it. What's this? Hi, Stephen. I was at the UK March in London yesterday. It was brilliant. Very concerned what the police claims have been hit with bottles. They weren't concerned enough to move these gathered together ones. Yeah, it stinks. I mean, the coppers are completely useless. They don't want to do any actual work, do they? They do less work than Stephen Hawking's bicycle clips, the average bobbies in the UK. They're shocking. So, of course, they aren't. No. If I was a bobby there, I'd grab a bin line and go around picking them all up. But, you know, that's actual work, so they don't want to do that. That was cringe. I know everyone's been disagreeing with me there. Honestly, I don't like it when, as much as I love the United Kingdom and the United States, I don't like it when the UK copies the Americans' tactics entirely. And being as I'm not religious, I don't understand. The one thing I always preferred about English conservatism was that religion was kind of on the down low. Like, obviously, I've got a soft spot for my childhood. You know, singing Little Donkey. We used to do hymn practice every Friday when I was in primary school. And I used to quite like it. I still like singing the carols now. Me missus laughs about it because at Christmas I'll happily sing and I know the words to all the good Christmas songs. Because, you know, that was part and parcel of growing up in the UK. But the thing that does my head in is the over battering you around the head with religion. Like, being born and raised in England, we were always very like, you know, you keep that sort of on the down low. Like, we view it as being a little bit impolite to batter people around the head with it. Clearly, leading on from what I said about having a soft spot for our cousins in England and Scotland and Ireland and Wales and Australia and Canada and everywhere else, obviously I've got a soft spot for these things, but I don't like aggressive religiosity. I don't like them tying conservative a desire to retain your past with aggressive batting you around the head religiosity. Like the Church of England, even in my childhood, was quite wishy-washy, and I prefer it that way. I don't like seeing a bloke with a massive cross medallion around his neck like he's Mr. T, with 3 gospel singers from the States or whatever singing. I don't think it's a good thing. But yeah, hymns were good. We had a fat teacher called Mrs. Dring who used to play the piano, and she was dead good on the piano. Matt Smith, 1-9 cheers, Matt. We're winning. We definitely are. Definitely are. Did you see how paranoid and sweaty Lewis was on his podcast? Sargon made a thing about it, and I was howling looking at it. Like, you could see he visibly looks like he shit himself. And I've had a lot of good messages from people saying, they've been mega confident of late and sort of gobbing off with a bit between the teeth. But yesterday, the difference was palpable with the coppers, because they said when there's only like 10, 15,000 protesters and there's like 1,000 coppers, they're sneering and like cocky. But I've been assured by more than one person that yesterday there was hundreds of thousands of people there, possibly 1 million, maybe. And they said the difference in the coppers was night and day. Like, they've gone from being sneering and cocky to genuinely a little bit afraid, because this is the issue, which is why I made that video about trying to promote, banging the drum, keeping it going. They honestly think, a lot of these people, they think that people like you and me are a tiny minority. And we aren't, like, at all. There's massive numbers of people that see things the way we do. We're easily in the majority by far. So the idea that we should be quiet and beg for scraps off the powers that be is totally lunacy. It's lunacy. It's for the birds, as Nigel likes to say. It's the majority opinion. It just stuns me that we've been so timid about it. Like, how has the trans thing got as much traction as it has when nobody supports it? I don't know anyone. Like, I'm telling you, if you stopped 100 people in the street and said, do you think Isla Bryson should be in the same cell as a woman? Not one. I won't even say 99%. If you should stop it on the street and show them a picture of that big burly skinhead with neck tattoos, I'm sure for American viewers, I'm just going to show you, because some of you might have forgotten. This is the reason that the Scottish Prime Minister had to resign. It's because of Isla Bryson. And look what... First of all, I've made this point before. They do my head in, right? These creatures, no moral fibre at all, no shame. Like people born in the UK, born and raised in the UK with English values, you have shame. I was thinking about it when I saw that meme of the little fat kid who took like a 2-gallon drum to an all-you-can-drink soda thing in America. And I was like, my mum or dad would have clipped me around the ear if I tried that. It'd have been like, good manners, isn't it? Like, if someone says take as many as you like, if you're born and raised in the UK, you take 1 or 2, because it's manners. Whereas horrible scrubbers from third world shitholes just go, oh, take as many as I like. Whoop, grab 17 trays of eggs out of the box and just walk off with them. Like, these people have got no shame. And normal people who never do this type of thing, if I sexually assaulted someone, it sounds ridiculous saying it because normal people don't do things like that. But I feel like even if I did, I wouldn't have the shame to turn up at court like that. Like, these people are creatures. If you're that much of a creature, they should send you down for life. I don't care. Like, just the fact that he rocked up in the pink lippy and the pink leotard and the pink bomber jacket doesn't make me... It just makes me think he's even worse than merely a double sex offender. I think he's a creature, a manipulative, despicable, detestable creature of the worst kind. Like, the fact that they have the shame to do it makes me more angry than the crimes they did, if that makes sense. Like if I was the king and I was sat on the throne, it was like the old days where you just judge them from on high. And they went, right, up next, we've got a double sex offender. I'd be like, oh, no, double sex offender, 25 years, hard labour, get him out of my sight. But then he came out with the pink lippy and the pink leggings and the pink bomber jacket. And I went, end it. Fetch the headsman. In fact, no. I'll do it myself, lads. Whamp. I would, honestly, I think it's like, it's worse, if that makes sense. Being such a two-faced, manipulative, slimy little creature, it makes it worse to me. So if you don't know this, this is a double surprise sex enthusiast. And how does he only get 8 years? This creature is going to be out in 4. Think of that. This creature's going to be out in 4. And it's a bloke with that's what the creature looks like. A skinhead with neck tattoos, a mentally ill frisp. Yeah, definitely good use of the word frisp for this one. Again, if you don't know that acronym, got a lot of new followers lately. That is effing repulsive, ignorant Scottish prick. Like Gordon Brown. Gordon Brown's a frisp. Oh, said his name. Gotta do it. Got it. You know the rules.
Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done.
Now, if you're a sensible, reasonable Scottish person like Kenny, then frisp can also mean friendly, reliable, intelligent Scottish person. But generally, if you hear the name used, that's what it means. All right, just so you know. So that's the creature. 4 years for the creature. These people sicken and disgust me. Like, the other thing that annoys me is how come the lefties always say that you can't stereotype a woman, you can't pigeonhole a woman is this, and then that thing comes out. When you're a male criminal pretending to be a woman, then you can stereotype a woman, then you can stereotype easily, and what they are is pink lippy, pink handbag, pink bomber jacket, pink, flowery, effeminate, flick your hair a lot, and then go, it is me. Like that video I showed you the other day. It's scandalous. That is ridiculous. Even worse than that is the bloke who shot, was it Kate? What was she called? Kate Steinley. The lass who got shot by that thieving, dirty, horrible, lying, scum-sucking sack of rats. He got let off. The world's gone mad. Don't get me started on that. I bet a lot of the Brits haven't heard of that one. Let me throw that one up. This is unbelievable. Kate Stanley. This guy, right? Unbelievable. Illegal immigrant. There's no photo on the Wikipedia, so I'll just show you the Wikipedia. But you'll have to trust me on this, right? She was a pretty young lass, minding her own business, walking along the pier in San Francisco when Jose Inez Garcia Zarate shot her in the back. And he was acquitted of all murder and manslaughter charges because Trump said a few... Look at this. Acquitted because lack of evidence. 200 witnesses, fingerprints on the gun, in possession of the gun, and they acquitted him because Trump gobbed off about illegal immigration. He'd been deported 5 times, and that's what happened. Because Trump said, "Are we having a laugh?" All the lefty wankers in San Francisco went, "Oh, we'll just let him off then." I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you? Disgusts me. These people, the world's gone crazy, killing children, killing innocent women, and they're treating them with kid gloves all the time. It's beyond the pale. Honestly, people, like I said, I would personally be the state execution. I'd do it for free. The last Saturday of every month in California, I'll do it myself. Put my name down. I don't even want a salary. And I wouldn't need any tools. I've joked about using, the beating them to death with the big rubber dildo, But you wouldn't even need to save money on the dildo. Just give me a bucket of water. I'd literally just check my watch. Come here, mate. Stick his head in there. Stop thrashing around for a little bit. And we're done. Done. Free. You can have that for now. I would grind the bodies into, a thin paste and feed them to prisoners as a gruel so they can at least serve us in death and save us some money. Slim, thanks for the diver. Don't know what that's for, but thank you for going and showing your support yesterday and everybody else who went. I know you're not a Christian, but it's all in the Bible, prepping for the Antichrist. Yeah, I told you, I'm a wishy-washy agnostic at this point. I do have a soft spot for the Church of England because that was my youth. And again, when I was a chippy teenager and in my 20s and I was like almost like a militant atheist because it didn't make sense to me. I was very militant about it, but you grow up and you look back at the 80s and the 90s when more people were godly and you think, I'll have that. I was telling my missus about it yesterday because she's the same. She's a lot more chippy than me because she was forced to go to church every Sunday for about 10 years when she was a Catholic kid. And I was like, how can you look around you now in the world today and say that everything hasn't gone totally round the twist? I'll take what we had. If I could go back to 1985, where I had to do hymn practice every Friday, and people used to actually go to church sometimes, I'd do it in a heartbeat. The world made sense. We need rules. People are too dumb to just run around willy-nilly, lowering themselves onto the shower gel bottle while they're having a wash. Everyone's a pervert and a weirdo. So I think we need to go backwards, back in time to when the world made sense. It's crazy. It's crazy time to be alive. So I've had enough. So I've definitely gone from being atheist, agnostic, wishy-washy. Now I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll take that. I'll have church. If you have to, basically, it's this simple. If I have to spend an hour in church on a Sunday morning, or I have to spend an hour getting daisy chained round a gay discotheque while sniffing poppers, I'll take the first one. Thanks very much. There wasn't legions of mentally ill women roaming the streets in the 1980s. The 80s and the 90s were amazing. Amazing. I just love how, and this is the thing, talking about women, the women were happier. Okay, people were a little bit more sexist in the 1990s. Yeah, we were. It was probably quite common in the 1990s for a bird to walk past a building site. Hang on, where's that gone? For a bird to walk past a building site and a load of geezers go, hey, get your clout out. That's what used to happen back then. But it's better than now, isn't it? There's plenty of birds in the chat. Isn't it? Wasn't it better then? It's better to have occasional mild sexism than what we've got now. It's been bad for women. It's been bad for women. Joel even go back to the 50s. Yeah, because it's mad, isn't it? What was so bad about the 80s and the 90s? You look at it now and you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a bit shit that how occasionally you had to put up with a bit of sexism. Occasionally in the 80s, yeah, if you were a woman in an office, you'd say, this might be a good idea. And some sexist boss would go, yeah, okay. Cheers, put the kettle on sugar tits. But it wasn't every man. It was just slightly more common. And it was way better. Now, all the women are depressed. Look at the numbers for women now. Look at the mental health. Shall we have a look for that? I'll just type it in on Twitter because you get some good infographics on Twitter. If you just type in women's mental health. I told you I'm a big fan of X. I think it's class. Look at that. Look at that one. There you go. Straight up. That's a class one, isn't it? 50% of liberal women under 30 say they have a mental health condition. Mad as a box of frogs. I'm glad I'm not dating now. I'm just glad I'm not dating. Honestly, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. If I went on a date with a bird now, it'd be an absolute train wreck. I'm too miserable and bad-tempered. And listen to me, I'm not quiet. If I went on a date with a bird and she was like, actually, I'm a two-spirit, I'd say, here, pick your handbag up and do one, you silly mare. I wouldn't put up with it. I'd say, I've had enough. I've had enough of you lot. I'd rather go out with a bird who was a munter, like a 2 out of 10, and had a 1980s mindset, than a 10 out of 10 who was post 2010, off her tits, mental, radio rental, head case, who has had a head filled with trash by psychopaths in colleges and universities. Like, the mental, aren't they? Absolutely mental. So there's nothing good about this modern era. Take me back. Take me back to the 50s. I'll do that. I might have to dress nice when I take a flight. There's loads of things I think are dumb. This is why I was always like a liberal person. There's loads of stuff I thought was stupid. Having to wear a shirt and tie on a flight, that sounds like a pain up the arse. Going to church every Sunday, don't fancy that. There's loads of stuff I'm not into. But look at the alternative. Now I'll put a flat cap on and wear a suit everywhere I go. If I can just be left alone and not surrounded by mental cases. I'd go out with a bird who had a 1980s mindset if she looked like Rocky Dennis. I don't even care. They're all psychos. So I'm thankful. I genuinely pity young people. That's a crazy statistic, that. There's an entire demographic who take antidepressants and go to therapy. And then we should all listen to them on how to run the country. Pretty insane when you think about it. Pew 2020, has a doctor or a healthcare provider ever told you that you have a mental health condition? That's absolutely unbelievable. Look at them numbers. Liberal women. That is absolute. So it's like 50% there, 18 to 29, sort of young liberal women. 50% of them are absolutely mental. You couldn't make it up, could you? Maybe if you're young, maybe that's the trick. What you need to do is you need to start dating by political preference. I'd never have dreamed of doing that 20 years ago. Again, I would never. We used to just all get along, didn't we, regardless of your politics? But now, if you meet a bird on one of these apps they all use, any young people watching, first thing you want to say is, do you consider yourself to be a liberal woman? And if she says, yeah, go, about turn, yeah. Turn your compass south, sugar tits, get out of my sight. I do not want to spend any more time with a mental case. And unfortunately, there's a 57% chance that you are completely off your tits. So this isn't going to work, love, is it? Send your granny over. I bet she's a conservative. It's off it. That is a staggering statistic, that. 50-odd%. And they've been to a doctor, so they're not just saying, I feel a little bit crazy sometimes. More than half have been to a doctor or a healthcare professional, and they've said, yeah, you're definitely off your box, you, love. Unbelievable. What else have we got here? That's a good one. Greatest threat to world peace. German survey ranks world leaders. Liberal women. There's another thing, and this is sexist. But if you think of it this way, if only blokes were allowed to vote, we'd have never had Biden, would we? The lefties, the lefty women, make it way harder for normal people to retain any political power. So that's a good one. I like that. Yeah, that is off it, innit? Are we worried yet? Yeah, I'm worried. I'd rather put me cock in a mousetrap than a 27-year-old liberal white woman these days. I'm glad I'm dating. I'd rather go out with a big fat howler who's a conservative. I don't care if I have to thumb it in every night like that. Thumbing it in whenever you want to engage in some coitus with your partner. I'd rather do that. I'll tie it to a lolly stick and use a splint to engage in procreation rather than go out with a smoking hot psychopath who's probably going to knife me to death while I'm in bed. So, yeah, I've had enough of this. Off the box. Don't go out with them, lads. Any young lads watching, don't go out with them. Don't do it. What's this one? Women who are mothers, married, exercising. Oh, look at that. As if this is news. Older married women who do exercise. Best mental health. Again, do we need studies for this? Do we need studies for this? A big, fat, purple-haired Hoover beast with no kids and 18 cats is more likely to have poor mental health than a 37-year-old happily married mother of two? Well, blow me down with a feather. Blow me. I'll tell you what, I never would have guessed that. Never in a million years. We're wasting our time with all these studies. We don't need them. What's this? 43% of women feel their mental health is suffering. Oh, this was just during the Rona, wasn't it? Well, she's sensible, reprehensible and avoidable. We knew that as well. We knew that. 37% of American adult women are on anxiety, depression and schizophrenia medication. Amazing. Amazing. Genuinely staggering to me. I just hope my missus never leaves me. Because I can't be done with that. I'll have to be celibate. I'm not going out with any of these birds. 37, but again, it sounds worse than it is, isn't it? Because if you get rid of all the liberal women, that 37% will be 7%. So it's not that bad. That is definitely true. The bullnose ring, 100%. 100%. If a bird comes to a date and she's got a bullnose ring in, you don't even need to let her sit down. As soon as she walks over, just grab the ring, lead her to a barn, and then shackle her to the fence and walk off. Because that's what they do with the bulls. She's probably got an arse like a buffalo as well. So, she's got an arse like a farmyard animal. She eats like a farmyard animal, just a bucket strapped to her head full of offal. So just leave her there. You don't even need to talk to her. It's crazy time to be alive. Shall we finish up with some amusing news from the BBC? First of all, not amusing news. That's a shame, isn't it? I think this is why I don't do drugs. Everyone I know who's done a lot of Charlie is a chronic depressive, so don't do it. It's not a good idea. I think Ricky Hatton, it'll turn out that he topped himself because he did a lot of coke, didn't he? And it melts your brain. Apparently, it makes you unable to feel like happiness without doing the drugs. So that's a crying shame. Just say no, kids. Everyone talk, all the pinkos, all the lying pinkos say, oh yeah, all the drugs should be legal. Booze is actually the worst drug. It isn't, is it? Again, I'm just going back to what I know, my conservative sensibilities. Booze isn't as bad. They love going, actually, look at this study. Alcohol melts your brain. You're better off doing drugs. You're not though, are you? Because we've had booze for centuries, millennia. All I will ever go back to is, did we drink more in the 40s and the 50s than we do now? Yeah, a lot more. Did we do less drugs like coke and E and ganja and all that shite in the 40s and the 50s? Yeah. Therefore, booze isn't worse. I don't care what they lie about. I don't care what they lie about. So yeah, don't say no, boys. That's a tragedy. I really liked Ricky Hatton. He was entertaining. All the best boxers are not particularly talented British boxers with a heart. Because Floyd Mayweather was the best boxer of the last generation. Amazing boxer. And he was boring to watch. Because he never got punched. People like Ricky Hatton and Froch, who lead with the chin and just go in like a whirling dervish, are fantastic to watch. So I was a big fan of Ricky Hatton. I think that's an absolute tragedy. And we'll see what happened. I would assume it's either suicide or drugs. And if it was the former, it was probably caused by the latter. So that's a crying shame. Just say no, kids. It's bad news, I'm telling you. Kirk suspect not cooperating with authorities. No, well, why would he? What's this knobhead done? Not cooperating with authorities has not confessed to carrying out the shooting. Taken into custody. Yeah, it's just a psycho. Yeah, weirdo. Well, hopefully he doesn't confess to it, and then we'll just convict him without him pleading. And then he won't have a plea deal to fall back on. And then we can fire up old Sparky and give him 48,000 volts through the genitals. Yeah. I'll happily put up with a power cut if we can toast his conkers in the bag. So I'm happy with that. Cheers, mate. That'll do for me. What else is going on? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Nothing about the million people in the capital, just more the Prime Minister gobbing off. We will never surrender our flag. You already have, mate. You already have. Because you kneeled for Black Lives Matter like a little slimy parasite, didn't you? You knelt for Black Lives Matter, but you didn't. You don't kneel for your own flag, you weasel. Look at that. Class picture. Love that. Love that. Britain will not surrender its flag to those who wish to use it as a symbol of violence, fear and division. Violence. The numbers are out, Nobed. We've all seen the numbers. There was thousands and thousands and thousands, possibly millions of them there. No fear or violence or division. It was positively peaceful by comparison to everything else. The flag represents our diversity. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because that flag represents our country for centuries before it became diverse. So it doesn't represent that. It represents the people of the UK, which, yeah, in this day and age, some of them might be a little bit diverse, but that's not what it represents. That flag flew over colonies and battlefields in the Napoleonic Wars. And when we tonked the frogs and the Spaniards at the Battle of Trafalgar or at the Battle of Waterloo, it had nothing to do with random blokes from Karachi. It had something to do with the people of Britain. So Mr. Starmer said his name again. Mr. Starmer.
Ha! Gay!
Can suck my stump. Although he would probably enjoy that, wouldn't he? Mr. Starmer can shut up. Yeah, easy. So that's total nonsense. It doesn't belong. How can it belong? How can it belong to a man from Pakistan? It's the British flag. It's the same. These people are mentally ill. Everything they say is upside down, back to front. The former Scottish Prime Minister was going on television and saying, I am a son of the soil of Pakistan. And then when a Scotsman got annoyed and went, no, you're not Scottish then, are you? He'd go, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Not only am I Scottish, I'm more Scottish than you are. Yeah. Even though you've just said you're the son of the soil of Pakistan. If Angus McDogshit from a council estate in Glasgow, and he's from 30 generations of Glaswegians, and he's never said he's a son of the soil of Pakistan, and he's never been anywhere more exotic than Hartlepool or South Shields or Aberdeen or somewhere, how is he not as Scottish as Humza Yusuf, son of the soil? These people are completely deranged. They tell us this with their own mouths. I am a son of the soil of Pakistan. And then when someone goes, oh, okay, well, you're not Scottish then, they go, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm more Scottish than your granny. And your granny's super gran. Flying bike with a sporran on. They're completely deranged. So nothing they say makes sense. It's just gibberish. And the MSM parrots it for them. Hey, at least the numbers are creeping up though, aren't they? At least the numbers are creeping up. His comments come after more than 150,000 people took to the streets of central London. The earbuds fell off. For a Unite the Kingdom march organised by Tony Romo, and about 5,000 took part in a counter-protest. So even the BBC's been forced to revise the numbers, haven't they? There wasn't 30,000 counter-protesters, you lying commie ratbag. And there wasn't 90,000 Unite the Kingdom protesters. No, there was a tiny, tiny, tiny number of commie counter-protesters, and there was a gigantic number of patriotic, freedom-loving people that aren't far-right and don't deserve to be smeared as such. The Prime Minister said on Sunday, people have a right to peaceful protest. It is core to our country's values. Yeah, fair enough. I'll agree with him for once in my life. But we will not stand for assault on police officers. But you did, though. Didn't you? You did, though. Let's, do you remember when, I wonder if I can find it, policewoman fell off a horse during BLM. So look, this is why X is so good, because you can just find all these things like super easy. Yeah, this is during BLM. Remember that? Objects thrown at horse by protesters, horse bolts, policewoman smashes, falls off unconscious, collapsed lung, broken collarbone, shattered ribs, nearly killed her. Nearly killed her. Officer knocked herself off her horse. Police horse causes havoc at London protest. They were getting bricked by BLM protesters. That's what happened. And then this necky, cheeky shower of shite says, oh, we won't stand for assaults on police officers. You did stand for them. You did stand for them. BLM caused havoc across the Western world. Do you remember when they were chasing the coppers off as well? What about that one? BLM chase police London. They were literally bottling and bricking them. Hundreds of coppers. They were taking the knee and getting spat out like in that picture there, look. It was unbelievable. So you do let them get police chased. Oh no, that's not the one. Okay. Yeah, this was it. Inspired by the race riots and Antifa anarchy, nefarious actors started doing the same in Britain. Here, London police, who were not armed, chased by a mob with weapons. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, we won't tolerate it. What, 9 arrests from 1 million people? So you will take it, Starmer, you absolute ratbag. You will take it, you androgynous android, closeted raver. You will. We should get the tit helmets back, by the way. Coppers weren't this soft when they had to wear the tit helmet. And Starmer likes the purple helmet. So now that we're on the subject, let's talk about helmets. I'm mute. You talking to me there? Ah, right. Oh, sound was on. Ugh. All right, we're back. I can't hear anything now. Expert on helmets and Ukrainian rent boys. So that's that. That's where we're at. It's mad. He will accept it. He will surrender it. He's a coward. He's a liar. He's a professional liar. Everything he says is bollocks. Look at that picture. Feel some pride in that. Loads of people. Great to see all the different flags as well. Irish flags, American flags, Aussie flags. That's amazing. The whole thing was great. The crowd was way more diverse than the Guardian newsroom. And there was hardly any violence. And all of this here is just lies. Lies and nonsense. Hardly any arrests, hardly any violence in one of the biggest protests in British history. So Sir Keir Starmer is talking bollocks, and I don't care what he has to say about anything. All right, we'll call it there, shall we? I've been doing a lot of streaming this week. I need to rest my vocal cords. All right, ladies and gents, thanks for turning up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the protests. Thanks for people who made all the banners and the flags, especially the ones talking about Charlie Kirk and all the other victims of this intolerable violence from the left. The dirty, lying, scum-sucking ratbags on the left. Thanks to everyone who's put some effort in. It really is important. Bootneck, keep going. You stand for all the lads in the UK who can't have a voice, else you get thrown in jail. Yeah, I will. I'm well aware of it, which is why I'm trying to be more prolific. I'll keep swearing, insulting Keir Starmer, pointing out that he basically is a total sex pest who likes ramming it up Ukrainian rent boys. I'll keep saying the things that you can't and hauling sad sack can't over the coals while I'm there. Thanks for the super sticker, Joe. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Yeah, I know, that is shocking. But they're getting brainwashed, so it's not their fault, is it? Do not judge them. They know not what they do. All right, see you all soon. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good Sunday. Take it easy. Cheers.